Hi guys, welcome back to the Social Tune. And yeah, it's been a while. Chalk that up to some good stuff and a lot more really bad stuff happening in both my personal life and in the world at large. And on top of all that, the charts are more stagnant than they've been in over a decade.
You're taking me out of the ordinary.
Pop music has been an absolute dead zone all year, we all know it. But once again, 2025 has just been fucking bad as a whole. I really don't know a single person who's having a good year. With more of my friends getting laid off or suffering from mental health issues more than ever, and that's not even counting the ones who are trans or queer and facing daily fear for their fucking life, I need to calm down for my own good. And when I need to calm down, I need to escape back in time. For me, that's meant re-binging Gravity Falls for the umpteenth time, playing Just Dance to stay in shape, and of course... Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that 2005's American Idiot has been my most replayed album of 2025. Part of that is, of course, seeing them live on tour, but I know I'm not the only one. Everyone has been trying to recapture the past in one way or another. Whether it's trying desperately to recapture Brat Summer, or make Birds of a Feather or Espresso the song of the summer 2 years running, or just fantasizing over what a new Chapel Roan album might look like when she finally releases a full project 5 or so years down the road. Because Lord knows any of it is better than Alex Warren or Morgan fucking Wallen. And so, to mark those 20 years, let's take a look back at a contentious year, 2005.
Baby, I just don't get it.
Now, I've made no secret that I think that the hate for 2005 is wildly overblown. I think the more valid complaint, though, is that the biggest hits of the year haven't really aged all that well. At least, not for the most part. I mean, the biggest song of 2005 was a legacy Mariah Carey hit, which I guarantee is nobody's favorite Mariah song. But again, let's be fair, 20 years later, 2005 nostalgia is back around in full swing. And I think it's only fair to reevaluate if the year was really that bad. And since I've already put together a best of list, which was downright fantastic and which I recently re-uploaded on this channel, most of the bad stuff left me feeling confused. Where there was a lot of mediocrity and pretty bad songs, but very few that were outright terrible. Note that I did say very few because at a certain point on this list we are going to take a nosedive in quality. So while you've been warned to brace yourselves, for now, let's begin counting down the top 10 worst hit songs of 2005. Number 10. So in case you are one of my hardcore fans who has somehow memorized or taken note of everything I've said about these songs in the past when I did the list on my blog, rest assured that this is going to be more than just copy-pasting into a new medium. After all, tastes can change drastically over a period of just a few short years. And with that being said, how the fuck did this not make my original top 10? Ooh yeah, let's just rip that band-aid right off. Not all the rock of 2005 has aged that well. And just because your hook is catchy, that doesn't mean shit if your writing is this bad.
She's just the girl I'm looking for.
I'm sure that there are members of my audience who disagree with this take. After all, this is harmless enough, right? The kind of boyish pop rock from a more innocent time that hasn't really been relevant since the death of the last boy band wars in the early 2010s. But have you actually gone back and really listened to some of those songs? Cause there's a lot of embarrassing schlock at best, and some downright creepy shit at worst. And trust me, this falls very firmly into that latter category.
She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing.
The Click 5 were kind of like the Jonas Brothers if they wore blazers and more eyeliner, straddling that fine line between the scene kids and the Disney kids to appeal to as wide of a demographic as possible. And in 2005, especially with bands like Green Day and Fall Out Boy running the show, that made them the posiest of posers, which is basically the worst insult that you could give a rock band in 2005. But dear gods, do I wish that my biggest problem with this was the authenticity. Look, the song is at number 10 because it sounds okay. The harmonies are nice, the melody is catchy, and the love-struck lyrics are delivered with a good deal of sincerity. But here's the thing, all of this song's strengths are soured by the core problem. It's a love song to a girl who clearly isn't into you.
She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing.
She is making it as clear as possible that she is not interested. And yet this song insists on perpetuating the really gross statement of, oh, she knows what she's doing, playing hard to get.
She laughs at my dreams, but I dream about her laughter.
Ew, that is so creepy right out the gate. And it really does make that chorus hit difference once you notice it.
Strange as it seems, she's the one I'm after. 'Cause she's bittersweet, she knocks me off of my feet.
Yeah, she's such a feisty one, kicking me, telling me she's not interested, threatening to call the police, but come on fellas, that's love, am I right? This is so bittersweet.
She's just the girl I'm looking for.
And clearly she doesn't want you to find her. For as bad as the lyrics have been so far though, it gets worse in the second verse.
She can't keep a secret for more than an hour.
Okay, rude. Are you just trying to talk behind her back so people will avoid her and thus isolate her for you, you creep?
She runs on 100 proof attitude power.
Wow, that is the most painfully forced 2000s line written by a jaded marketing executive that I've heard in a while.
And the more she ignores me, the more I adore her.
How do people not see how much of a red flag this is? And boy is the bridge not helping.
But when she sees it's me on her caller ID, she won't pick up the phone, she'd rather be alone.
Funny enough, while the Click 5's career would not last in the US beyond 2005, they did actually blow up in Cambodia and the Philippines, to the point where their record label actually made the decision to release their third studio album early in Asia before it came out anywhere else. So I wouldn't feel bad for them. They definitely did better than they deserved. Because as far as I'm concerned, this should have resulted in a drink straight to the face. Really hoping it stung.
Just the girl I'm looking for.
Number 9.
Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself.
So, fun fact, I hate this song, and always have. It's remembered as one of Maroon 5's best songs, but to me, Levine will never not sound like he's fogging up a window at the thought of being the one that she'll be loved by. And sure, maybe that's just projection based on the 2 decades of Maroon 5 that would follow this, but over time, it became a lock for this list. One tiny problem though, it came out in 2004, and since it was a hit in that year first, that disqualifies it from this list. Fuck's sake, I had an entire segment written out about it. What the fuck am I supposed to do now? I don't suppose there's another beloved hit that I could shit all over instead?
So seductive.
Yeah, that'll do.
I take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the spot. Whoa.
Okay, maybe beloved is kind of an exaggeration. After all, I don't know anyone who would die on a hill for this song, even the biggest 50 Cent fans. But then again, as far as I can remember, I don't recall anyone ever placing it on a worst list, and that somehow feels wrong.
Shake that ass, girl.
Now to be clear, I too was tempted to put Disco Inferno or Just a Little Bit on this list instead, but my issue is less that they're too obvious, and more that I genuinely think that for as bad as they are, they sport more interesting elements. Whether in the production, or the chorus, or just the fact that 50 Cent delivers them with a wry smile and easy charm. With his full chest, as if he knows just how dumb they are. Heck, even Magic Stick, which is basically the same song as this, is played up for yucks, which makes it way more entertaining because it sounds like he's in on the joke. Here, 50 either sounds like he's bored or completely out of his comfort zone.
Go ahead, girl, don't you stop.
Every time time that this plays, I'm struck by how unfun it is. The beat is more ominous than so seductive. And while he does throw out the trademark yeah and whoa here and there, everyone just makes it sound like he's half asleep, and he slurs through the rest of his verses.
Wanna show me you can work it, baby? No problem, get on top, then get to bounce around like a low rider.
This is giving less alpha male, and more like the guy trying to talk dirty while reading scribbled notes on the back of his hand. Maybe that explains why the punchlines are mostly just third-rate dad jokes.
And temperature rising, okay, let's go to the next level. Dance floor jam-packed, hot as a tea kettle.
Come on, even you don't sound like you think that's funny. And that's when he bothers with the joke at all. On other lines, he just sounds like he's improvising by just rhyming words with themselves.
If you be an info, I'll be an info. You ain't never heard it sound like this before. Cause I ain't never put it down like this. Soon as I come, long as she ain't stopping, homie, I ain't stopping.
Oh, and of course, never forget,
Isn't it ironic how erotic it is to watch in thongs?
everybody listening to this owes Alanis Morissette an apology.
It's like rain.
I know that it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but I've genuinely always been curious why this comes across as so unsexy. And my conclusion is that nobody hated hearing this from 50 Cent more than 50 himself. Compare this to, bear with me here, Carry Out.
Take my order, push your body like a carry out. Let me walk into your body till you hear me out.
You might hate this song, many people do. But personally, I love it. And I'll say it, I think it's a way better bedroom jam. Why? Because it fucking commits. The beat, the lines, the ridiculous deadpan delivery, all of it contributed to the silliness of the song. And gods, does it know how silly it is. Candy Shop not only lacks that effort, but Olivia clearly is way more into this than 50.
I'll take you to the candy shop. One taste of what I got.
Look at this thumbnail. Listen to how many of these lines can be boiled down to, well, what do you want me to do?
You can have it your way. How do you want it?
It just smacks of someone trying to make a loose, fun sex jam, but is afraid of looking goofy or weak. And frankly, I don't know why this was the line for him. After all, he's certainly been good at delivering silly before, but this fails to be fun or raunchy or remotely good at anything it's set out to do. Number 8. Oh, calm down. How the hell was I gonna place this on the worst list? 2005 was the start of Rihanna's career as a bright-eyed 16-year-old who would go on to become an icon that far eclipsed her music. But for every messiah, there must also be an antichrist.
Is your man on the floor? If he ain't, let me know. Let me see if you can run it, girl. Indeed, I can run it.
20 years of Chris Brown. I'd say we don't deserve it, but looking at the state of the world right now and comparing it to the state of the world in 2005, maybe we got off easy.
There's something in this liquor. You'll regret the day when I find another girl. These hoes ain't loyal.
Maybe.
Once I get in, you won't let go. I'll have the girls wishing they were you.
I know that some of you were probably wondering whether or not this would make the list. After all, it's technically one of Chris's better hits. From before he was a completely irredeemable piece of shit. I mean, listen to that voice. He's just a picture of innocence. He even sounds like a child here.
Let me talk to you, tell you how it is. Damn them chicks with you, gotta be a king. Have you saying I can't be 16?
Okay, please rest assured that I am not making fun of people's speech impediments in general, but I gotta say, it is so weird that this was the kid that people decided to give a 20-year career to. That lisp is utterly hilarious in the context of this song. It clashes horrifically with everything else around it, from the jerky synth-based beat courtesy of Scott Storch, to the undeserved swagger in his delivery, to the lyrics where he's trying to steal some guy's girl. God!
Is your man on the floor? If he ain't, let me know.
Because of course, even at 16, Chris Brown was a little shit stain who deserved to have the crap kicked out of him. On top of that, the way his voice cracks and yelps all over the place really adds a unique layer to his bragging about stealing this guy's girl.
Once I get in, you won't let go. I'll have the girls wishing they were you.
Because of course all the ladies are gonna be jealous of the lucky gal who bagged the squeaky underage kid. And then, out of nowhere,
All I need, I can run it. Let's go. Girl, you feel right. Make me feel like.
it turns into a completely different song, with a smooth R&B beat and Chris Brown cooing away romantically, much like he ended up doing on songs like With You. Well, to be fair, it's the best part of the song, but as I said, it comes right the fuck out of nowhere, and it only lasts a few seconds. And then we cut back to the original beat, and he shows up.
Make it drop, honey. Make it pop, honey. Whip whop, tick tock to the clock for me.
Santana's verse here is absolutely legendary. It's one of the worst guest features of all time, and it still sounds atrocious.
We could get it in. We could get some friends, do it like the yin yang twins, star whispering.
How can one man look so confident and yet be so utterly lost? His flow is stilted as hell, he flat out doesn't rhyme at all, and he makes references to multiple other songs that were popular at the time. Most probably because he was extremely insecure about his own verse even back then. As he should be. And let me be clear, he is the main reason that this ended up on the list. I mean, this is nowhere close to Chris's worst hit, and I'd argue that despite everything I've said in this past segment, I can still take him more seriously here than I can Santana. Chris was a kid here, pre all the problematic shit that would soon follow. But Santana was the adult who showed up and turned out a worse performance than the yelping teenager.
All I need, I can run it, yeah.
Number 7.
This my shit. All the girls stomp your feet like this. Few times you've been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that. 'Cause ain't no holler back, girl. Ain't no holler back, girl.
Hi, Gwen. People have said a lot of things about this song. Big claims, like some critics claiming that it's Gwen Stefani's worst hit ever, to others just deciding to scream in terror at the sight of it, both of which are arguably valid. Personally though, I've never had that reaction. For one, Wind It Up exists.
This is the key that makes us wind up.
Yeah, that one's way worse. And also, the entire song knows that it's shit. Nothing about this track feels thought out or even designed to please listeners. It went to number 1 and ended up being the second biggest song of the entire year, based solely on the fact that it was so bad that people could not look away. I mean, let's be real, if you've heard No Doubt or some of her other singles, you know that Gwen Stefani is playing an incredibly dumbed down version of herself on this, attempting to sound as excruciatingly annoying as possible on purpose. Much like Wind It Up, it's nakedly provocative, just not in a way that hits quite so close to home for me personally. In fact, more than anything, it reminds me of Kesha's Blah Blah Blah, another song trying to be as awful as possible for its audience, except arguably doing a much better job at it. That being said, that song is shit, and so is this. It's not as insulting as some of the other songs that I've mentioned in this past segment, but let me be clear, it's still terrible. The ugly, squawking horns, Gwen Stefani sounding like she's making all this shit up on the spot. Have I even mentioned who produced this, by the way? And even with all that, it still has its unironic fan base. And to be honest, I kinda get why. It is bombastic and upbeat, with enough weird elements that I could see this entertaining some people. You just need to be willing to turn off your brain, which I'm incapable of doing because of how obnoxious it sounds. Ultimately, it is a very, very bad song, but just not quite enough to place any higher than this. It's stupid, it's dumb, but it doesn't really get under my skin. Unlike...
Ain't no holler back, girl. Ain't no holler back, girl.
Number 6. Yeah, prepare for another rant.
A clever rhyme, see you later. These words are my own, from my heart flow. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Yeah, back when I originally posted my best hits of 2005, a few of you did ask me why this didn't make the list. Well, now you know. And unlike some songs that we've discussed up until this point, this song genuinely irritates me a lot.
These words are my own.
Look, in theory, I understand why people might like this song. After all, it's pure critic bait. A song about how hard it is to write a love song. Granted, it would immediately be dwarfed just a couple of years after this one by one of the best hits of all time, but at this point, it hadn't really been done as much before, at least not on the charts. Honestly, there's only really one thing missing: quality. Because in my opinion, this is a train wreck of a song on a very basic musical level.
Don't you know, don't you know, don't you know?
First off, you have the way it sounds, and I'm just gonna say it, I have always hated Natasha Bedingfield as a vocalist. She always sounds so strained and too convinced by her own brilliance, much like Jewel before her. And while no, she doesn't sound as bad as her brother Daniel, that's a low bar, people. Because those vocal filters do her absolutely no favors. Certainly not when she's shouting most of this instead of singing.
The combination D-E-F.
And on a similar note, what the fuck is up with this beat?
Read some Byron, Shelley, and Keats, recited it over a hip-hop beat.
I know it may seem odd to focus so much on how a song sounds when clearly the lyrics are meant to be the focus. I mean, just look at the fucking title. But much like with a fine meal, presentation does matter in music. Heck, in the mainstream, you could argue it matters even more. To convince people to keep replaying your song, that killer hook, as Natasha herself puts it.
But I couldn't find the killer hook.
So while I do appreciate the effort that is shown here with the string touches and the attempts at some multi-tracking, it all results in a jumbled and crowded mess, with several elements that just clash horribly, especially with those jerky synths and that painfully thin drum machine. But you know what? You're right. Let's just judge her on what she clearly wants to be the focus here, the lyrics. Every defense I've heard for this song starts with, oh, but the storytelling, it's so relatable. And you know what? In that single regard, you're right. Sometimes it's hard to find the words to express just how much someone means to you. My issue is how contrived it feels here. It's a simple idea that's made needlessly complicated just for the sake of things, and yet still comes across as lazy somehow. If it were just overindulgent and pretentious, I wouldn't like it, but I could at least respect it. But Natasha acting like her writing is so clever, and then it just results in this chorus? Again, it's the half-assed nature of the payoff that really gets to me here. And yet Natasha's delivery would have you believe it's way more complex than it really is. It just feels like I'm listening to pure masturbation. There was a remix of this song that went viral last year and actually managed to become a hit in Ireland, making the year-end Hot 100 for some reason. And don't get me wrong, it's bad. Some have called it unlistenable. And yet on most days, I would easily listen to it over the original. Because at least it's more focused, at least it serves a purpose. Presumably to recreate what a seizure feels like, but also to make you dance. And that's more of a reason to exist than the original ever had.
And